you've hired good people, you've written procedures, you've delegated properly more than once, and you still can't take 2 weeks off without your phone ringing. So what's actually missing? Most business owners answer that question with a list. They say marketing needs fixing, onboarding needs fixing, the finances are a mess, the team needs restructuring. So they try to fix all of it at once, and 6 months later they are more scattered than when they started. Here's what I've found after over 2 decades of building and installing systems. Your business doesn't need 7 new systems tomorrow. It needs one breakthrough in the place that's holding everything else back. Because a business is only as strong as its weakest system. And until you fix that one, fixing anything else changes almost nothing. I'm Isaac Wambua. I am an industrial engineer by training, a business systems architect, and the creator of the Dynamo Business Operating Systems. I help business owners and their leaders build better operational systems and stronger leadership so their companies can run, grow, and thrive without depending on them for everything. And this makes the company more scalable, more valuable, and better prepared for the future. I've spent over 2 decades building the systems that let organizations run without the person at the top. So here's what I'm going to do in the next few minutes. I will show you the 7 systems that make a business self-managing. And then I'll show you how to find which one of the 7 is your actual constraint, because that's the one you should touch for the next 90 days. One thing I know is that it predictably gets harder to run a business as you grow. Most business owners find that genuinely confusing. You would expect more people to mean less problems. It usually means just more. More problems, more challenges, more questions. And here's the mechanism. When your business was small, you had a handful of unique challenges each week. Unusual customer situations, judgment calls to make, the small to big things that just needed a little bit of your attention. Say 5 a week. If you had 5 challenges, you handled them. Then you grew. More customers, more staff, more suppliers, and more moving parts. You and I know that complexity doesn't grow in a straight line. It compounds. Every new person and every new service doesn't add just one challenge. It multiplies them. So your business challenges didn't go from 5 a week to 7 a week. They went to 50. Meanwhile, what did you do to cope with the growth? You wrote procedures, documentation, and you did training on the standard way of doing things, all of which handle the predictable, none of which touches the unique and quite often the unpredictable challenges. So you end up somewhere very predictable, very specific, and very tiring. You end up in what I call the land of exhaustion and stress. Your business runs beautifully on a normal day, and you are personally required for every abnormal situation, which at scale is most days. Now, think about your business like a machine, not a metaphor, but a real machine, a machine with gears. When one gear slips, the whole machine strains. You can hear it. And what most business owners do when they hear that noise is grab every gear at once and start turning the machine. Your job is not to crank the gears. Your job is to design. Your job is to install and maintain the machine. So let's look at the machine. In my book, The Dynamo Business Blueprint, How to Build a Business That Runs, Grows, and Thrives Without You, I break down 7 systems every growing business needs. You don't need 100 systems, you need 7. So 7 systems, 7 gears. Gear number 1 represents the first system, which is marketing. The key question to ask is, do qualified leads arrive consistently without you personally generating them? Gear number 2 represents the sales system. Do those leads convert through a well-defined and documented process, or do they convert because you got the call? Gear number 3 represents service delivery. Once someone buys from you, do you have a well-written process for onboarding the customer and giving them what they bought quickly and effectively? Gear number 4 represents operations. Do projects, tasks, and communication run on what you call a rhythm, or do they depend on you chasing everyone to ensure they do their job? Gear number 5 is customer success. Do clients stay, return, and refer business to you, or do they quietly leave and you find out later? Gear number 6 represents financial management. Do you know your profitability, cash flow, and pricing without having to guess or estimate? And finally, gear number 7 represents leadership and people. Can the leaders and their teams operate effectively when you are not there? And that's the whole machine. 7 gears representing 7 systems. Every part of your business sits inside one of these. Most of the business owners feel worse whenever they look at the list because they can see gaps in all 7, which brings me to the part that matters more than the list. You are not supposed to fix all 7 at once. Think of your business as a water pipe. Water flows as fast as the narrowest section of the pipe. You can polish every other section of that pipe and the flow doesn't change. Widen the narrow part and the water and everything else in it moves faster. Every business has one constraint, one choke point, setting the pace for everything else. So the real question is not how do I build 7 systems? The right question to ask is which one of these 7 is currently costing me the most? And what happens if I focus on and fix only that for 90 days? Here's how you find it. We have 4 diagnostic steps. Step number 1 is to score all 7 systems on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means the system is broken. 3 means it works but it's inconsistent. 5 means it's fully systemized and delegated, meaning it runs without you. Be honest on that last one. Most business owners rate their systems a 4 when they are really a 2 because the system only works when they are personally watching it. Here's the standard. If it needs you to run, it isn't a 5. Step number 2 is to ask where the friction is. Don't just ask which score is the lowest. Ask where is the loudest pain. Those are not always the same thing, and pain is often the more reliable signal. Listen to what you actually complain about. If you say we need more leads, you have a marketing constraint. If you are getting leads but they are not closing, you have a sales constraint. If clients are frustrated after they sign up, you have a service delivery constraint. If you are constantly chasing leads, following up, or reminding people what needs to get done, you have an operations constraint. If you say, I don't really know if we are profitable, you have a financial management constraint. If clients don't come back, renew, or refer others to you, you have a customer success constraint. And if the team cannot operate without you, or nobody is clear on who owns what, you have a leadership and people constraint. The key is this. Don't just look for the lowest score. Look for the constraint that is creating the most friction in the business right now. Step 3 is to fix the system that unlocks the rest. Don't fix what's already working. That sounds obvious and almost nobody does it because the systems we enjoy working on are usually the ones we are already good at. The question is which system, if it improved, would make the others easier or irrelevant. Step number 4 is to go deep for 90 days. Pick one system, audit it, simplify it, document it, automate what you can, and track it. 90 days on one thing beats 90 days on 7 things every single time. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I once worked with a business owner. I'll call her Megan. Megan's company had a steady flow of leads every week. Their sales conversion was terrible. She was certain it was a marketing problem, so she did what you would expect. More ad spend, more campaigns, more lead magnets. Nothing changed. When we actually looked closer, we found that the leads were fine. Her sales process was the problem. There were no clear follow-up steps, no scheduled touch points, no clean handoff from marketing to sales, and prospects were falling through the gaps. We agreed that for 90 days, she would focus on one system. She documented the sales process, built the follow-ups, and trained the team to run it consistently. Just by focusing on that one system, the conversion doubled. She didn't fix everything, she fixed the right thing. She very quickly realized that she didn't need the extra marketing spend she had been adding for months. Now, I need to say something about System 7, leadership and people, because for many of you watching, this is where the honest answer is. The first 6 systems can largely be documented, standardized, and handed off and run by someone else. Marketing, sales, service delivery, operations, customer success, financial management. But System 7 is different. Leadership and people isn't primarily a process problem, it's a capacity problem. You can document expectations, you can define roles, you can create decision rights and accountability systems, but you cannot write an SOP that suddenly gives someone the judgment, confidence, ownership, and leadership capacity to make the call you would make. And this is why so many business owners improve their operations and still can't step away for a week. They may have built 6 solid systems, but the 7th system is still heavily dependent on them. So here's the question. Can your team think, decide, and execute without you? If the answer is no, you've found one of the biggest constraints in your business. And this is where I spend a significant amount of my time, because documentation alone will not solve the problem. You have to build the leadership capacity of the people who are supposed to run the system. So this week, I want you to do one thing. Take the 7 systems: marketing, sales, service delivery, operations, financial management, customer success, leadership, and people. Score each one of them on a scale of 1 to 5. Take 10 minutes and do it honestly. Then write one sentence. You can use this script. The system costing me the most right now is blank, and for the next 90 days is the system I'm going to focus on. Then tell someone, your second in command, your business partner, your coach, someone who will hold you accountable to that decision. Because accountability is the difference between a diagnosis and a decision. Now, you may be thinking, what if more than one system is broken? Because you are looking at that list and you can already see 3 or 4 that need attention. That's normal. Most business owners will score low in more than one area. But it doesn't change the instruction. You are not choosing the only broken system, you are choosing the first one to fix. And the sequence matters, because when you fix the real constraint, it often relieves the pressure across several other systems. But when you spend time fixing something that isn't the real constraint, very little changes. Megan's marketing didn't actually need fixing. It looked like a marketing problem because revenue was not growing. But the real constraint was sales. The leads were already there. They just were not converting. So pick one. You may not get the diagnosis perfectly right the first time, but you are far better off choosing one system, working it deliberately, and learning from the result than trying to fix 4 systems at once. You can adjust the choice. What you cannot afford to do is avoid making one. So here's the point. Your business doesn't need you because all your procedures are weak. It needs you because one of these 7 systems is creating a constraint, and every challenge that system produces eventually finds its way back to you. You have 7 systems. Score the 7, find the loudest pain, write the sentence, tell one person, then focus on the system that, when strengthened, will relieve the most pressure on the rest. Fix the constraint that unlocks the business. That's your challenge this week. If you want to score your business properly, not just on the back of an envelope, I built a business stability diagnostic for exactly this. It will help you identify which of the 7 systems is creating the biggest constraint and what to work on first. It's free, it's linked below, and it takes about 12 minutes. And if you already suspect that your biggest constraint is System 7, leadership and people, then the next video is the one you should watch, because there's a specific reason delegation breaks down. And most of the time, it isn't the person you delegated to. I'll see you in the next video.